Okay, y'all, we're in the studio here right now. We're at KLZ.
Oh, you came all, look at fathers came all dressed up,
I
man.
got my guys coming in.
Huh?
Brock is
Father's Day now?
gone.
Yeah, we might as well.
His car broke down, so that's where he is. And then Reno is in California. Here comes Andre. There's Andre.
Are you getting on the air?
There's Andre.
Yeah, you don't want to get on?
You can be the big dog now. Be the big dog now.
Hey, you're not getting on?
Like that, Mike?
Why not?
You can show it.
Yeah, you could be on the air with us.
Or you could just be on the phone, or
Yeah.
but you just can't have the phone ring.
Yeah.
I'll just come sit.
What were you
come
doing?
on in, hang out with us.
Do you want to? This is Heath.
Hi, how are you?
Brian.
What's your name?
Amelia.
Yeah.
Amelia. Nice to meet you. I'm Heath. Love your pink hair.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And do you want to hear like what it sounds like?
Yeah. Hang out with us.
So that's coincidental.
What you dressed up for? What?
The band, because we got a wedding.
Got a wedding.
Oh, after
to go
this?
to. Is that why you smell like vanilla, bro?
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah.
getting married?
Are you wearing He's not wearing vanilla. You are.
I'm working.
Who's getting married?
One of my
Yeah.
cousins, right? Is that what she is?
Nice.
I don't know.
Twice removed, something like that.
No, she's married.
You got any other ideas, man?
Bro, I'm still bringing up Sancho Saturday next week. Sancho Saturday.
Sancho
What is
Saturday.
Sancho Saturday?
Ask your girlfriend, bro. Oh, dude, I
Sancho?
cannot get this thing
She
undone.
should know what Sancho is.
You ever listen to Sublime, bro?
Don't practice Sanchoria.
Yeah. Listen to
Ain't got no
Santeria.
crystal ball. If I had $1 million, well, I'd spend it all. If I ain't got
Mhm.
the Sancho that she found.
Here,
But-
just 'cause you want to be on.
Capper ass.
This
Nice.
thing doesn't feel like
Yeah, there it is. That's the ghosty ghost.
it is one.
Yo, what speaker am I on?
Down, but I really want to know,
How about mental health? How
my
about that? It's
baby.
mental
But
health.
we were gonna cut.
Yeah, are
We
we
were
gonna
gonna-
pivot? Are we
we
gonna
were gonna-
pivot right now?
Well, what, do
Hey, we were gonna use that. We were gonna bring it together with that.
We were gonna.
Oh, mental health?
Yeah, with the
Yeah,
men's
'cause
fathers.
it's men's mental health.
Yeah,
month or something.
it is.
Yeah.
It's mental health.
Ah,
Oh,
it
it's
really
so
is.
fathers.
oh, then we'll do mental
Fa-
health.
So
No,
check
we
it
do
out,
fathers.
fathers, and fatherless. You can all have mental health, and so we need to address this.
What did you say? It's mental health
Whatever
month or is
the-
it Father Day week?
Yeah, bro, I'm telling you, I want a Sancho. You know he got scared, bro. He got scared.
You think you got scared because we were going to talk about Sancho?
Sancho.
Am I real big in the camera, Brian?
Yeah, bro. Florida.
Well, how big you want?
Yeah, it's men's mental health month. It's June.
It's men's mental health month. Thank you.
Look at you, bro. What happened?
Does mental health? Let's see if mental health
Stunting?
Stunting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
How
I
can
was.
mental
Yeah,
health
I was in. I was in
cause
stunt-
to be a
stunt
bad father?
class.
Some weight, huh?
No, man, I'm stressed.
Mine's
Tell you what, that's one way to cut weight.
Yeah, and
Stress out. Brian ain't stressing enough.
Mm.
You know,
Oh, I guess I'm brushing. Dude, did you get in it? Oh no, that's not an apple.
It looks like an apple.
It does.
Do you
Comes
think
from
I
the same
want to?
factory.
You think I want an apple? I don't want no freaking whack Apple phone, man.
You
Wackle?
got an Apple phone, bro. You do know that, right? Looks exactly like the
Dude,
Apple
did you
phone.
what did Elon Musk do to Apple because they didn't want to use the satellites and pay for them, but now they are, and he said he's gonna make them pay for it. Did you see that?
no, he didn't say that. It was Disney.
No,
He's mad at Disney.
no, Apple, no. I just
Yeah,
read it,
everybody's
bro.
mad at
Apple's
Disney.
using Elon Musk satellites now, and they didn't want to pay for it. And he just came out and said
Brock
he's going
is
to make
so
them pay.
mad. Tell Brock to listen to the show.
This is right up his alley. How to be a
Sorry.
Yeah, take notes.
Are you serious? So we're doing Father's Day. Father's Day.
Faja.
Father's Day. Father's
Dude,
Day.
if you don't want to,
Happy Faja.
Huh?
you got 4 minutes.
Yeah. You gonna lead us in and everything?
Sancho. Yeah, dude, we'll do Sancho Saturday. Next Saturday, huh?
Yeah.
Well,
Father's Day is
but then
second
that'd be
next
Father's Day. Is next Saturday.
Next
Yeah.
Saturday.
Next Sunday.
Yeah, why don't you guys do Father's Day next?
We could prepare for it.
Good Lord, man. I am.
We don't even know.
Serious. So did anybody study on what Brock wanted to do?
You could say
Mental health.
mental
No.
health, which just ties into all of this anyway.
All right.
Which one are we doing?
Mental health, I guess.
All right, let's do it.
next week's Father's Day, so we're gonna address mental health.
Yeah.
All you people that are daddies,
Yeah. All the daddies.
the daddies in the house, raise your hand. Jeez.
Daddy in the house. Daddy. Oh, wait, we're 1 minute out, man.
Sorry.
You gotta put your headphones on. She can talk if she wants. If you want to chime in
Yeah.
Scared.
or laugh.
You're all right.
Or laugh.
Yeah.
You got your volume button there.
You're just talking around. You're just talking around the table at home.
Mm-hmm.
Serious.
And
Just-
make sure your phone isn't.
No,
Oh, yeah,
no,
let me
it's
turn on
Not
my
on
phone.
vibrate. If it vibrates, it'll.
Yeah.
I'll just put it on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah. Even though it's still.
Huh?
Mom called last week and it's still. Like came through. Wow.
Well, yeah, it's because.
Dang, I better ask Rogue.
Okay, buddy. Can you hear me, Charlie?
I said, yeah.
Brian, do mic. Brian, mic check.
Eat Rizzle.
Oh, you.
That sounds.
I hear
That's
everything.
like ominous. I know what you did last summer.
Mhm.
Slap. I'm with her on that one.
Private sector experience.
Dude, I can't do it, bro. It slides off my head. Can't do it.
What I'm doing?
The one ear.
Yeah, I have to for a second,
Just
but then
skip
I
it,
do
yeah, I
this.
guess.
I dive in.
Should we? Oh, hey. Remember when I tried to get Josh to do that?
Hmm?
Remember when I tried to get Josh to.
Hey, Dad.
Is that how it goes? I gotta watch it.
My name's Areno. I'm Blueprint Areno.
Reno does this?
Huh?
Reno does this?
Yeah.
Really?
Do I what?
Said really?
Really what?
He does the podcast, Reno?
But he's.
Does he ever come?
Should I? Do you want to be a guest?
Freak, no.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm supposed to talk about. I'm not a guy.
Say what?
I'm not a guy. What am I supposed to talk about? You guys are talking about mental
You can just
health.
chime in and be like.
What?
Just
I mean,
don't
I
tell my
guess I
secrets.
can. I could.
Don't tell all the family secrets. No, I'm just kidding.
All the family mental health secrets.
Guys, he's crazy.
He's a serial,
Loca, loco.
he's a serial killer. Watch out.
I can't hide myself.
Guess I should pay attention.
Not yet.
Shout out, everybody. It's Eyes
Hey.
Perspective. We got our group out here, with the exception of two of our
Two
jams.
guys, yeah, we got. We're missing Reno. He's out in Cali. What's up, bud?
Yeah. Chi-Town's in Cali.
Yeah, he's still working out there, I think.
And then we got the trash can. I'm sorry.
The trash can.
I was like, oh
Truth
man,
man.
what?
Truth man.
I thought he was talking about Brock, but
Oh,
you
Brock
were
is
talking
the
about
trash
me. I'm like, who's the trash can?
He ain't here this week. So.
Man.
Yeah, he can't defend himself, man. That's why we're gonna really get him.
Yeah, let's give a shout out to Brock. Broke down on the road.
Broke.
Broke down.
Give a shout out to Broke.
So-
Hey, buddy, get your truck fixed, man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So check it out. I have a guest, have my daughter in the studio. If she wants to chime in, she can. But if she don't, just don't tell her her secrets. You know how it goes. So, being a dad is tough. It's not easy being a parent and all that. So
Yeah.
next weekend is Faja's Day.
Faja Day. Hey, talking
Faja.
about being a parent. It's a parent that we got to talk about.
So that's why we're dealing with mental health today.
Mental. Right. Mental health starts when you have kids,
Right?
or it declines when you have kids.
Yeah,
Probably.
it's an experiment. Hey, everybody call in 303-477-5600. 303-477-5600. We're actually looking for you guys to chime in. You guys really are our audience, and you are what makes us. So if you guys got things you want to say, feel free to jump on in and criticize us, critique us, or love us, or hate us. Just give us a call.
No, I thought you were going to say just give us $1.
But still call us.
I know you can put one bid out there.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it is mental health month.
Yeah, in fact, it's men's mental health month.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, men's.
I didn't even know they had a month.
Mental health was just last month was like mental health awareness and suicide prevention month. So this month is now men's mental health because it's not very known. I guess you could say a lot of people just shove men in a closet and be like, "Oh, you're fine. You don't have mental health."
Yeah, that's
Wow,
good. That's really
thank
good.
You. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
But why do you think that's the case?
Right.
Why do you think men's health is just thrown into the closet?
It's the stereotype of men have to be strong and they have to.
That's good. That's
provide
real
for
good.
Family and that they need to always be okay and nothing will affect them. But everyone's human. Everyone has feelings. So.
That is so
Shoot.
true.
You know
Like
what?
maybe you're scared to tell somebody that you're going through this or whatever the circumstance may be because you got to be that protector, provider type guy, and you look weak when you are coming out to somebody saying these type of things. I mean,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
There
Man,
it is.
that's so on point.
I know,
appreciate you
right?
saying- Listen, we're going to change this.
All right,
to
we're
a girl's
out.
Perspective. Jeez.
I mean, that is so true.
And the thing is, it is hard for guys to even articulate that stuff because we just press on. We just keep going.
We do, and sometimes we do it to the point of collapse, where it affects our physical health too. Would you say?
Do you think that has a lot to do with men not wanting to go to the hospital also?
Oh,
like because
That's a
my
good tie.
mom, my aunt, they're always getting checked. They got, doctor appointments, months in advance for cancer this, cancer that, and men just, hold it off and hold it off and hold it off. And my friend just died because of that, because it was too late. You waited too long to go to the hospital and found out you were sick.
I totally
That
agree
is-
with that because the only time
Do
I
you-
ever go to the hospital
do you
is
go?
when my mom's dying.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
myself included. I don't go to the doctors at all, man. It's not because it's a conspiracy or I fear them or anything like that, but I do believe that I don't want things to go unchecked, but I don't have anything that I really need to check.
Yeah, check engine light doesn't seem to be on.
Yeah.
So it's bother, right?
Yeah. If I got a hurt leg, I'm gonna walk through it, and then soon enough, I'm feeling better.
Yeah, the old saying, walk it off.
Walk it off.
Right? I think that's what happens with the men's health, though. When you think about it,
Yeah.
if something happens to you, let's just be real. I've been grieving for last few months, lost a lot of weight. you know, but I don't have a lot of people come out and ask me how I'm doing. But do you really want to hear how I'm doing? Not
That's
really, right? I mean, let's just be
that's
real.
valid. That's valid. Do people really want to hear?
Yeah.
Like, because how does it not come off whiny for a guy to talk about their problems, either
Yeah.
mental, physical, emotional, financial, spiritual? It all sounds sadly whiny.
But I think it could be hard to want to hear somebody's problems because you're having your own problems,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
It's like, oh man, I don't want to hear. I'm struggling over here myself. You know, I'm having the same kind of issues over here, so it's hard to want to hear what you have to say.
But that's the key part of being like a human being, man. Is being able to empathize or sympathize with somebody going through something that you yourself have endured or encountered.
Yeah, and
So we need to be open to one another.
another thing to consider too is that when I was younger, I used to always think that, this person. Yeah, I think we judge each other too.
Harsh.
Sometimes
Yeah.
harsh, right? It's like, oh, this guy.
That's
I can't believe this guy's whining about this, but but lifestyle changes affect people in so many different ways that everybody who does have an issue or whatever or is going through a problem. I mean, it's easy to dismiss it and just literally say walk it off, and I think we do that as men. We're taught that basically.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Stereotype.
stereotype and societal. It's created by society.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like, not even just, I feel like everybody has a problem with being closed-minded and not being open to what other people are going through. They're like, well, I'm going through this, but they don't think about other people. They don't put themselves in their shoes and they don't have any empathy.
Mm.
And I feel like, okay, some women, I think they get a little bit too much and like they don't think about what guys go through. Like guys, I mean, I've heard that guys can't even go to the gym without girls going up to them and being like, oh, like you're looking at me, you're doing this, and like, I don't think women put themselves in men's shoes and they don't think, well, what I say doesn't that affect them?
We can be affected.
Totally.
Men
Yeah.
can be affected.
Yeah. I mean, we put up a good wall. I mean, I totally
Yeah.
think we do. You just, if you really want to know how I'm doing, you really don't want to know how I'm doing at times, right?
Right.
So I think Robin Williams was a classic example of someone that was fighting desperately,
Well,
depression, but how did
Yes.
he cope? I mean, he was just someone that joked around all the time. I mean, there were songs that have been made.
well, it's
Smokey Robinson.
yeah, it's like Tears of a Clown, right? And always being the life of the party, and so that's a facade. It's what people put up in place of the depression or the sadness that they have because they have no one they can turn to about their issues.
But I think a lot of men's problems could be with the avoiding the avoidance of the Lord in their life also.
Ooh.
Like how many problems are coming mentally because you aren't, going to the one you need to go to for help.
Isn't it biblical, bro? It's supposed to be there's God,
Mhm.
then man, then the woman.
Well, think about this too, though. The Bible does say that we should be able to go to each other, and we should be able to support each other. We should be able to laugh with each other when something great happens. We should be able to mourn with each other when a person's mourning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think that's a lost art from 2,000 years ago or so, right?
Yeah, text just doesn't do it. Hey man, you're gonna be okay. That tow truck will come.
Walk out. So hey guys, one more time, 303-477-5600. What we're talking about today on a guy's perspective, mental health, right? It is Mental Health Month.
Mental health, yeah.
Mental
Well, the other tie-in was fathers, right? Because Father's Day is coming up, and that pertains to men as well and their mental health. Do you, as a father, man, do you feel like you, it's helped or hurt your mental health? Like seriously.
Ooh. No, I think like my daughter said, we put on a we put on a facade, and we try to be the strong people, and we fail. Parenting isn't easy, whether you're a father or a mother, really, right? I mean, this just seems like the biggest experiment in life. That, open to God, that you don't your children doesn't die under your watch, but something's stupid at least.
Right.
But is it mental? Yeah, it's there's days, speaking from a dad's point of view, there's days I come home, thinking about how I'm going to keep the finances flowing. Do I have enough jobs to keep things going? Is my health going to be, adversely affected to where, I might not? What if I can't basically do enough for my kids and my kids' kids?
Yeah, and I think being a parent could be really hard because no experience. So if this is the first time you're parenting a kid, I mean it evolves, right? So the kid's, a baby and she's crying all the time, right?
Mhm.
So that that kind of gets on your nerves all the time because the baby's whining. But then before you know it, she gets older. She's 13 now. She's dealing with different situations. So now you got to evolve to a parent being a parent. You went from being a parent to a young kid to a teenage.
No.
I feel like a lot of teenagers, I say because like a lot of teenagers, that we forget that our parents, this is their first time parenting teenagers. This is not, and kids too, but it's like this is their first time. It's just like our first time living, it's their first time living, and I think kids forget that my dad has feelings. He has his own problems that he needs to deal with, and I can't be like, well, I hate you because you took my phone. Like, you just gotta also not forget that he's human and that this is his first time and he's gonna make mistakes just like I make mistakes.
That is super mature. That is super mature.
Yeah, and I think it's hard because when you were being parented, when you were a kid yourself, and your dad disciplined you or your mom spanked you, and you got older and you couldn't stand that they did that to you, well, then now you aren't doing the same thing to your kid, but you don't understand the benefits that it had. You understand?
Well, like the pendulum will swing one way or the other. So the parent, if they spank you a lot, then you might not spank your child, not realizing why your child's a screw up because you didn't spank them.
Yeah, because I'm a firm believer of spanking your kid.
Yeah,
I didn't say abuse your kid. I mean, right. But I think a lot of parents are spanking their kid for the wrong purposes.
And what it comes down to, at least for what I've learned, is it's teaching them how to use their words to communicate about their emotions and what they've gone through. So if it comes to a spanking to catch the attention, then you must talk with them through that.
Absolutely.
Why and what happened, and talk after it, because words are very powerful and motivating, and you have to empower them.
You really do. And then, you kind of made a comment about avoidance, and I think in behavior, a lot of us don't like confrontation. Who likes that? And as a parent, we're here to parent, but at the end of the day, just like it goes with relationships, not really good practice, but sometimes we practice what's known as being avoidant. I don't want to deal with this subject matter right now, and sometimes, I don't know, sometimes as a dad, I think we can try to justify things based on our pride, and then forget that we were children too, and but the other thing on the, turnaround, sometimes, kids don't realize that we were also kids
you were kids too. Well, and some of us are still challenged in growing up in emotional maturity, financial maturity. So we're still like 8 years old with our money. We're still 8 years old with our anger.
Oh my goodness.
Your inner child is showing.
All right, guys. So what do you think, Brian? 303-477-5600. We are a guy's perspective, and looking for you guys to chime on in.
Well, I think a lot has to do with, personally would be sleep. I mean, if you look at mental health, the top three, the reasons are, exercise, sleep, and diet.
Diet?
Yeah. Those are the top three to help your mental health. I mean, how much is diet playing a part in the problems that you have mentally?
Oh, yeah.
Because I eat horrible. My mental state is, not so great.
It's funny. What's funny, man, is like dietary is also effective of the financial health, when you eat out all the time, man,
Mm.
it's
Right.
pretty expensive, and so it makes my my financial health detrimental.
I got a question. So most of the stresses that are in our life, is it something that we bring on ourselves? I mean, what are your guys' thoughts?
Hmm.
I personally have struggled with mental health. I have for like a hot minute, but it's like it just depends on the situation. Like a lot of the times, yeah, some people do bring it upon themselves and they make it worse because they get in their head, they spiral.
That's true.
They think my life is terrible. This is happening to me. I don't want to fix it. I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna rot and I'm not gonna do anything to help myself. And a lot of people tend to do that. They tend to be depressed and they don't want to do anything because they don't think that they're worth it or that they can't
Oh,
have
that.
any help.
Do you think that's because maybe they're lonely? You know, if you're lonely and you don't think anybody cares about you, before you know it, your mind's wondering. You know, why do you belong on this earth?
Yeah.
You know what? You know what?
I think that absolutely adds to the weight and the gravity of the spiral because you feel alone, not realizing that others are experiencing the very same thing.
And yeah, and you know what? I don't think people understand is they might be in a bad situation right now. It might be horrible for them. They don't know that it could change down the road.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
it doesn't matter what
It's
situation
seasonal.
you're. Yeah, it's seasonal. Everything's seasonal. So you could be in the worst spot in your entire life, right? Not knowing that something great down the road could transpire.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I said because I think about now that we're talking about this, I thought about people that have committed suicide, right? And I think how many people would if you could go back and ask them, would they have regretted the decision they made, right?
Right.
Before.
You
So
could-
if you would ask somebody who just committed suicide, do you regret it? Of course, they're 99
you could-
times they're going to say yes.
You could tie it all the way back to what Andre was saying about Robin Williams, man. I mean, he got diagnosed with, I forgot what he got diagnosed with, but it led him into such a depression to make the decision to take his life, which is funny because at the farm, I'm not saying funny, but what's funny is like at the farm and with our animals and all this stuff, we can choose to euthanize them, right? When things are so bad and dire, but we don't do that for ourselves as human beings. And that's another completely controversial subject matter. But that, you know, it is for a moment and it is fleeting and it will pass. But then sometimes it's just too, I don't know, too great of pressure.
It is, and I think sometimes we use the poor coping mechanisms such as alcohol or drugs or
Sex,
sex, yeah, sex addiction,
gambling,
yeah, and then
plethora of stuff.
yeah, and it's a downward spiral. When
Mhm.
you think about it, and then all of a sudden we're trying to look up and trying to figure out how to get out of the situation that was created. Doesn't mean that we should beat ourselves up because of it, because everyone, like Amelia said, we're only human, and that's what human happens, in this life. Loneliness, it's going to happen, no matter where you're at. Everybody at some point feels loneliness, but also I think turning it into a God perspective, which in my opinion, I've
Never
been
alone.
lonely. You're never alone, but sometimes we need that conversation to God. We need to be able to talk to God and ask God, I've been going through this, and there is, I could easily say in my life, I've wished people would call in my loneliest times, like in a divorce, for instance, or
wow,
things like that. But it doesn't happen. So what do you do?
I venture to say that every one of us that are living and alive right now that we've had those moments where feeling alone in our difficulty that we call out to God, whether we call it God or not. We hope and we pray for something, and sure enough, there's like sunshine and an opportunity, and a friend calls or texts, or somebody rear ends your car, and then that changes the dynamic of the woes you have. It's like, damn.
I feel like going back to what Andre said, with God is that God, He puts you through hard things because He knows that you can handle it and He knows that you're going to change, even for the better, for the worse, through this time, and that there's always something positive in the end. Something terrible will happen, but something beautiful will come out of it. You can't rot in the pain and the suffering. You have to think like, hey, you know what? This is hard, but you know what? In the future, I'm going to be better. You have to want the help. You can't just feel I need help with it.
Man,
Yeah, that's
this girl
really
is
good.
spitting
But I want-
wisdom. She's
Yeah,
Yeah,
truth in
she's
the book.
good. But I wanted
Ours
to
are great.
piggyback off something she said about God knows that you can make it through it. So why does it feel like when you're going through it, you feel like you can't make it through it? I mean, doesn't that
Sometimes I felt that, yeah.
dude? I feel like
Yeah.
it's too much.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just seems overwhelming, but when you look at it, it's just a small part of our lifetime. You know, it's just a moment in time. It's a wrinkle in time, if you will. You know, where even this thing seems so magnanimous in our eyes, you know, that we think that it's an obstacle that we can't leap over or get through. But at the end of the day, it's just, you know, life is so much greater and so much bigger than this problem. And you know, if you believe in God, then surely God is bigger than any problem, right? And I think when you go to a lot of mental health, we heavily rely on different things. You know, you rely on different tactics, different methods, you know, methodologies, you know, like ruminating, like Amelia had mentioned. You know, there's a lot of people that ruminate. Oh, I wish I would have said this instead of that. And it enters their mind through the whole day and night. Or if there's an argument, well, I wish I would have done this and did that. But with that said, you know, I wanted to at least go back, you know, because suicide is pretty prevalent. And the problem is we think we don't have people to reach out. You know, reach out to your neighbors if they're safe enough. You know, reach out to your friends, your family. But don't be a lone island, because that's easy to become a lone island. And if you don't have that type of person, then you can even text 988. It's the lifeline. It's for suicide prevention.
This is nationwide.
Nationwide.
Text 988.
Yeah. And then they'll be able to at least talk you into what area you need for that time. Or if you have a pastor or an imam or something like that, you know, that you can trust. You know, I mean, we have people. It's just trying to figure out who those people are. You know, who your support is, really, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I could speak on that because I've been suicidal myself. Now, is that because you feel like somebody wants to try to destroy your life, or is that because of the pressure and so forth? But I've dealt with suicide myself, and I can truly tell you that it gets better after.
I've dealt with it too, and I think sometimes it seems like hope has been abandoned when you're at that state, and that mindset. I will say that, there's a lot of things going on in my previous marriage where, I was made to feel like an incompetent dad or, an incompetent man. And, when you start to feel devalued, or if someone always makes you feel like you're not valuable, sometimes you start to take it to heart. Mm-hmm. And it's the saddest thing about human life is that words are so powerful that we can tell someone.
Yeah, the power of life and death are in the tongue, and those that love it eat its fruit. So we can either preach and speak good into our life and others, or bad negativity.
Yeah.
Think of it as like toothpaste. When you say mean words, you squeeze all the toothpaste out of the tube. Yeah. And you can't. And when those words are out, you can't take them back because they've already set in, and you can't squeeze the toothpaste back into the tube. And also going back to what Brian said about suicide, it's a very hard, touchy topic because some people, they think it's the easier way out. They think that they can't get through it. They think that their life is over, and that they need to end it because that's the easiest way.
Wow, yeah, that's the easiest way.
But not everyone thinks like that. Some people are like, I've given and I get nothing back, and I think that it's my end. But it's like, it's hard to navigate whether it is your quote-unquote time and when it's not.
Yeah.
It's like, you just, also like with help, it's like if you know you need help and people are telling you need help, then you need to get help. Go to your, schedule a therapist, right?
Yeah.
You can do one session. If you don't like it, you don't have to stay with that therapist.
And there shouldn't be any shame in that.
No, we need to normalize being able to talk about things like this. And that's the problem, is some things become taboo unnecessarily. So yeah.
That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, but how much do you think exercise would play a role in this whole situation?
Huge role.
Huge role.
serotonin, all those things inside your mind. That there's a chemical response that basically rewards you and gives you, for lack of a better word, like feeling of happiness.
Yeah, serotonin.
Yeah, the serotonin kicks in. That's why some people go for a drug high. If there's something that affects serotonin, like morphine or the opioids or whatnot, because that affects your serotonin levels. Some people utilize that dopamines to bring all those up, those feel good things. But long term, most people that are on any type of, in my opinion, most people that are on SSRIs or whatever, something that will, change brain chemistry and try to give you a little bit of a kickstart to get you in a better frame of mind. I think long term, the best thing you can do is to exercise, because your brain will reward you for that. So we're approaching our halftime show.
Yep, there's gonna be a halftime show. Listen to those sponsors we have, and select them for your windshield repairs and for your electric and for your spiritual needs too.
Absolutely.
Halfway through halftime.
Oh.
Nice job, guys.
Yeah, you're doing really good.
You're smart. You smarty pants.
He doesn't say much.
No, I really don't.
You don't. And you're like, what the?
Well,
That's what I was saying. Your mom.
no.
Yeah.
I mean, I like talking. And I like, cause like I relate to all of this. Like everything you guys talk about, I've gone through it. I've done it. So it's like I know what it's like to go through all of it.
Yeah.
See, you're very. So then you seem to be like wise and astute and introspective and all of those things, and it's helpful because that makes you a good friend and a good counsel to people.
Yeah. What are you thinking there, Brian?
Well, what?
Fighting your woman?
No.
Getting notes?
Yeah.
Hey, were we still? Oh, so we're like on mental health, right? Is that what we're doing?
Okay. We are now. Yeah. We did kind of say that, right? We're like,
We did.
because next week is Father's Day.
We did. So we're on topic.
Exercise and mental health.
We're on point. Yeah.
Because
We're actually staying on topic.
that's a tough thing. Sometimes we veer. We just squirrel.
No, you guys we're staying on track because we're talking about sleep and like exercise. Like we're talking about things that feed into mental health. So
Yeah.
I think we're
How does exercise help mental health?
I'll tell you how. I'll tell you the role that exercise plays in mental health. It's either it's either a good role if you do it or bad roles if you don't. Yeah, roles.
My therapist described it as like instead of wanting and like thinking, it's like you're pushing your body to your limits instead of like doing other things, but it's healthy and it's not like it's terrible. So it's like a good pain, but it's not like a terrible thing.
Yeah.
So that's what.
Well, and every challenging everything that we meet with, a challenge and we go through makes us better for the future. If we take the easy way, then it'll be challenging.
Does exercise help mental health?
Okay.
Go around. First. Oh, yes.
Okay. I was kind of wondering that. So thank you.
Yeah.
You already said my name one time. You said my name one time. You said my name one time. I'll say it.
I'm going to let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, okay.
My name is Jack Heine.
Okay, yeah.
Jack Heine.
I wasn't going to say my last name anyway.
All right. Welcome back to the part 2 of a guy's perspective we're dealing with and speaking about mental health. I have a guest speaker today. She's my daughter. She's beautiful.
Hi, my name is Amelia.
And who else do we have on the mic? I'm Andre.
And I am Truth. nothing but the truth.
in the booth.
And this is Jack Heine.
Jack Heine. All right.
Jack Heine,
I'm gonna call myself Dre Rizzo.
Trey
Dre
Rizzo.
Rizzo. Hey, we were speaking before we got off about exercise and what it has to do with mental health, and I mean, it boosts your esteem, which lowers depression,
You're absolutely
which
right.
lower
With working out.
yes,
Yeah.
which boosts self-esteem, which lowers depression. So if you're in a depressive state, I mean, isn't suicide in a state of depression?
Hey, you know what that is? Yeah. A body in motion stays in motion. Body at rest stays at rest.
True.
Oh, that is
So
good.
don't stay in that sulk. Get out, move, do something.
And I think people don't really realize that, you know, you don't want to exercise, right? You're lethargic. Whatever you're eating may, you know, bring you down, whatever the circumstances may be. But they don't know if you just go for a 5-minute jog, just that start, a 5-minute run every day will lead to 10 minutes, and before you know it, you're hooked on absolutely exercising, and before you know it, you got a plan in motion.
Yeah, this is absolutely true. I remember when I got divorced. I mean, it was not an easy divorce. I know I bring that up. You know, at the time, like, you know, was having my children just withheld for no reason at all. And that's tough as a dad. So, you know, you really have these little, I always call them like legs on a chair. And sometimes those legs in life will be kicked out at, you know, one time or all times at once. You know, whether it's financial, whether it's family, you know, whether it's business. But thank God, you know, I think at one point, you know, all of us have to rest on one thing, which is that God's going to be the solid rock, you know. And that helped me out. So I'm not going to minimize the exercise, because at the end of the day, I ran and ran. I was like Forrest Gump. I did start running. I mean, I was like doing miles. I entered, you know, whatever races I could enter. I did mud runners, things like that. And that helps me out so much. Did Muay Thai, did the weight training, things like that. Now I'm just feeling like a fat slob. So.
But think about the weight that you have on yourself when you're lazy,
Yes.
when you don't want it.
That's a
No,
double,
I don't.
That's
I
a double
hate,
entendre there, bro.
right? I hate
Yeah.
exercising.
The
Like,
weight
I
you have on
hate
yourself
it.
when you don't exercise.
You know, when I first started, I absolutely hated it. But now I'm really enjoying it.
I don't.
It's good
You
stuff.
know?
Yeah.
Well, I totally think, you know, for myself, I got to get back in it. So my daughter's probably laughing at me because of how many times I've been like, oh man, I'm almost getting fat. I need to go exercise. You know, the saddest part is that, you know, I had something come up recently where I was told, well, you can't exercise. You could just go for walks. You know, that's only a temporary situation, but my goodness, when you're told you can't exercise, it's amazing how defiant that mind is. And it's like, I want to exercise so bad, getting all this stuff. Because it helped me, you know, it genuinely helped. I mean, it reframed how my life was. It reframed, you know, what I thought I was going through, and how, you know, at some point, realize that, you know, I'm going to make it through this. It'll be good to yourself.
I feel like with exercising, a lot of people who want to start exercise, they want to start that journey. I feel like they sometimes tumble into like, I want to do this, but then they just don't do it, and then they sulk on not doing that.
Dude, that is
Yeah.
so
That's,
true.
I feel like a lot of people are just like, I want to look like this. I want to do X, Y, Z, but I don't do it, and then I sulk on that I don't do it. And I hate, like, not that I hate myself, but it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you sulk and you be hard on yourself because you're not doing it.
Well,
And then it becomes a bad habit.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, it
Cyclical,
just becomes, yeah, that happens to me all the time.
Then the dopamine hit becomes like go and get ice cream to make yourself feel better,
No.
as opposed to like you can make it a reward at the end of it to get the ice cream.
But do you want to? Though?
But it's paralysis of the analysis. Some people think, oh, you know, I want to start golfing. Well, you don't have to start by buying all of the equipment. Just buy or rent some or borrow some.
Yeah.
And I don't think
for any type of sport is what I'm talking about. Is like if you're going to get into martial arts, you don't have to buy all the equipment. It's not about the equipment. It's about showing up. You just show up.
there you go. Just show up. Just show up.
Just show up. Yeah.
Put
That's
your
just life in general. I mean, that's one of the best
show
things,
up.
just showing up.
just show
Yeah.
up.
Right? Whether you're, what do they say? You know, whether you feel good or not, whether you're tired or not, you just got to show up. Same thing happens at work, right? There's days you don't want to work, but at the end of the day, if you don't work, you don't make money. So eventually, you got to just show up.
Yeah, that's right. Just put on your tennis shoes, right? Open the door, go outside. It's hot out. It's nice out. Right?
Yes.
I mean, just go hit the track, run down the street, and run back.
and you could always make the run to Dairy Queen.
No, I mean it all starts with, dude.
I
If
love
you
ice
started
cream.
exercising 5 minutes a day, because I don't think people understand what exercise has to do with mental health.
Mental health,
It's
yes.
huge. You know what I used to do is Arnold.
What?
I read this book, about Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I think he, wants people to go up to 100, sit-ups, push-ups, just body squats. And I used to do that. I used to just randomly drop to the floor and just do 100 push-ups, and my kids would just pile on me after the divorce, because they, lived with me after the divorce. And man, I tell you what, it was so rewarding. Everything, I will say, having children, kind of going, sneak peek to Father's Day or Father's Day.
Fascia.
It's a beautiful thing having kiddos because they make your life even that much more better. Yes,
They
really
make you stronger. If you're doing push-ups by yourself,
Yeah.
that's one thing. But when the kids start getting on your back while you're doing them push-ups,
resistance.
resistance. 30 pounds here,
They
80
make you
pounds there.
stronger physically and mentally.
Yeah, they
The
do.
resistance. No.
I heard this brain buster, and it said there is one last time where your parents picked you up and set you down, and they never picked you up again.
One of those one time, and
Doesn't
I was
it?
like, oh, I didn't even it's weird. Like you never think about it. Like
Yeah.
you're like, oh, like this is my last time. Like, you don't think about
Yeah.
it at
I
all.
was riding on Dad's shoulders,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden he set me down and never put me back up on his shoulders again.
Jeez. How about mental health?
Yep, that's
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. If everybody wants to chime in, we are at 303-477-5600 KLZ 560 app. Also, if you miss anything, we and KLZ, we have Spotify. We have a few other
iTunes,
iTunes, yeah.
iTunes, and YouTube.
YouTube. You can catch us. We have a Facebook, situation where we have some great people that chime in, and believe it or not, we actually do reply. So.
Yes, indeed.
Tell us.
And the third thing that talked about mental health was sleep.
None of us are getting good sleep.
Good Lord. No.
Who here is getting good sleep?
Well, think about it. Every day something's
I
happening. If you pay attention
my-
to the news.
My
Yeah,
dog
it's-
woke me up at 5 a.m. puking,
Really?
and I had to clean that up. Yeah, that's just how.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, I see. I'm a furry father. wait a sec. Yeah, I'm a furry father.
I don't know if that's the right term.
Oh.
But it's okay.
I'm a doggy daddy.
There you go.
There you go. That
Like-
sounds a little bit better.
You know what? Speaking of dogs, wait, we got to stop this. So we actually had, on our Facebook, we had a thing where if you submitted Man's Best Friend, your doggy, any votes on that thing? I mean, that was supposed to be at the end of May.
Yeah.
We're looking for that Bo Nix jersey and that meal at Cinzetti's, right?
That's Zetti's, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna be eating that. I don't know. Are we
Yeah.
allowed to be part of that?
Well, I think I put my dog on there. Didn't you put your dog?
No, I didn't put my dog on there. I
You should put somebody's dog on there, and then you'll just get you'll get the award reward.
What do you think? What about your pups? Snickers and
Yeah, I didn't put her on there because she would have won.
Oh, okay.
All
She-
right.
Hands down.
My dog's the coolest dog in town, bro.
Yeah.
No, really, I got the coolest dog in town.
I mean, I think our dog is also pretty cool. I don't know.
He's pretty awesome.
He's pretty awesome.
So,
Hey, does that count for parents that only have animals? Some would argue that their fur babies are.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. There's a big difference in my opinion because that fur baby doesn't back talk you. Yeah, maybe in the
Yeah.
wrong area or whatever, but sweetie babies.
But I'll tell you this: the thing with the fur babies is they never grow up and leave the house.
True that. Well, hey, Brian never
You
grew up
always-
and left the- oh, no, I'm sorry.
No.
He did grow up.
Brian is a fur baby.
Brian the fur baby.
Oh man.
I'm sorry, man.
Going back to like sleep because we kind of got off.
Oh yeah.
track.
We did get off track.
But squirrel.
It's okay. Dogs are great. We love dogs. But with sleep, okay, is it because you're not getting sleep because you spiral and you have anxiety at night, or is it because you just are addicted to your phone and you can't get off your phone?
Ooh.
Well, what about that's
Yeah.
a good question. But what about people that actually can't sleep, that actually have a
Well,
problem
yeah.
sleeping?
I know they make some medication for that, some meds to help you sleep, but I'm a little leery about some of that
Yeah.
stuff. You know, for the horror stories of someone cutting up things and they didn't realize what they did.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I agree with what Amelia said. And I think it's been proven that when you can't sleep, sometimes you have to shut that phone. I think it's 15 or 20 minutes prior to bedtime
Yep.
because there's something about that blue light that just keeps your brain thinking that it's still daytime. And it's true. I found the best thing that I've done lately, and that's why I don't always answer you guys when you guys text, is I've shut my phone down and I plug it in, and at around 7:30 I'm done. And every once in a while I'll chime in here and there, but that's helped me out tremendously. I'm sleeping so good now.
So put the phone down.
The phone.
And I think people have a hard time, setting a set time, what time you're going to bed every night. You get distracted. You're watching the show. You're on your
But that's
phone.
What about social media? And I think social media actually has exacerbated mental health, in my opinion, because there's a time where I want, if you didn't like my Facebook post, then you must not really be my friend. It's like, some people get like really salty about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that gives you weird dreams.
Oh, dude, speaking of dreams. Anyway,
Oh, did you have a dream?
I had some great dreams. I should write a script about it.
Your
Me.
dreams are a little wacky sometimes.
Do you want to tell us?
You
Or
should
is
hear my mom talk about it. Like when she's telling us about his dreams, it's so funny.
But that's like the game of telephone, though. That's like, because he'll tell it and then she'll tell it, and there'll be points that that were sticking to her.
And usually it's more goofier when I tell it, and then it gets toned down a little bit when everyone else tells it. I got some crazy dreams.
I can tell you this. Tell you this for anybody who wants to try to memorize or to recall your dream. As soon as you wake up, start writing it down. Then you work that memory, and then that habit, and soon enough you'll be able to recall your dreams.
And I want to talk about my two dreams I had last
Oh,
night. It was yin and yang.
yin yang. Yeah.
I kind of want to go back to the social media about like how it affects mental health, and there was a debate about it whether anybody should have social media or not because of how bad it affects people. How bad? I mean, I'm just gonna go off of what like girls like. Let's say you're in a relationship,
Body image.
right? Yeah, body image. Yeah, extremely. You see everyone else; they have nice body, etc., etc. They look good, and then some girls look at themselves and you're like, hey, I don't look like that. And then you spiral and spiral and spiral, and that's not healthy. And
Right.
I feel like it's worse for teenage girls more than guys, but I'm not 100% sure.
Right. Absolutely.
I don't know because I have an older brother, but it's not like he scrolls on Instagram. It's like, oh, you see this guy? He's so jacked. My brother does not care. He could care less.
Yeah, but one thing that you said that women should really realize is even the most beautiful women in the world have self-image problems.
Self-confidence.
I mean, think about that for 1 second. If you think you have self-image problems, think about the women that are the most beautiful in the world that are still getting Botox, that are still getting.
They'll be a dime, and they'll be with like a very terrible guy.
No, I'm not talking
They
about.
will-
They're
they will.
still going to plastic surgery and doing different procedures to themselves when they got famous just the way they were. They made it famous just being who she was, but yet they still didn't like their image.
Mm-hmm.
They still added lips. They still added bigger breasts. They still added this, that, and the other.
And the crazy thing too is that I used to do a lot of work for a pretty prominent coach and his wife, and I remember what I was told is that most of the times when they're going to the salon or whatever, the wife, that they will talk them down out of how beautiful they really are naturally. They'll say, "Oh, who did your hair? Oh my God, what happened to your makeup? Who in the world?" But let's just be real. You're right, Amelia. I mean, body image is huge, and I also think men deal with that too.
I wanted to say the one thing that is kind of parallel to men having to deal with, so women deal with body image, men have to deal with their station in the world, like the money that they make and their position. And so that's the flex. In a
Sure,
lot
that's
of
the
time,
comparison.
that's the comparison. And so a man feels inadequate or worthless if he cannot provide.
Absolutely. And that's a hard thing too when a person loses their job or whatever the case is. I mean, to me, like I said, it's one of those, legs on a chair or a table.
Mhm.
So when that gets knocked out, sometimes a man will feel out of order.
Yeah.
Especially as we start to
Yeah.
age too.
Well,
I mean,
it's-
at some point, there was a time where, I would prefer, to be looked upon as a protector from my own family, friends, etc. And for the long time, that's the way I was viewed. I'm noticing as I've aged, lower muscle mass, I'm starting to let things kind of go here and there. And it has affected me, but,
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys think. Just,
Well, I mean, on that same topic though, of men having that insecurity and women having that insecurity, I think what's important is people need to have grace on themselves and have grace on others. What is it? Judge not, lest you be judged. And to what measure you judge, you will be judged. Maybe that's a bit of that turnaround that comes back on us when we're harsh on other people. It's a reflection of and us projecting our harshness on ourselves.
there is so much Bible and
Yeah.
just the way we deal with things in life.
Yeah. Love your neighbor as yourself, man. So love yourself well.
You do have to love yourself.
But that's still hard to do.
It is hard at
Yeah.
times, right? I mean,
But-
what do you guys? How about you?
Oh yeah, I get ice cream every day. I love me.
What about you?
I mean, self-love, it's hard because when going back to the body, like it's hard because some people don't love their bodies. They don't want their bodies to look a certain way and you want to feel confident. Some people really struggle with that. I tend to go on a roller coaster with it. Some days I love myself and some days they're not greater than the others. So it's like, it's just a very, very fun roller coaster.
But that's typical. That is totally typical
Right.
of feeling great about yourself one day and not feeling so
So-
great about yourself
So
the
then,
next day.
so then
That is totally typical.
let me challenge you and the listeners on this. Do you love your mother any less, or your sister, or your brother, or your child any less when you have peaks and valleys in your love? I mean, it's not like love is like it's the steady. It's always there, but you might not like them that day.
Sure.
You might like them better another day, and same for self. So, what the point I'm trying to make is that love doesn't always have to reflect as just shiny, happy, wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes love is the difficult thing that we deal with.
True, and sometimes love actually encompasses difficulties too.
Yeah.
If I can know that something or someone has hurt me, or maybe even shamed,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that affects us too. It's like sometimes if we feel shame, that can affect our mental, what we've done.
Right.
And the problem is we've got to still know that we're human, and we still got to love us, self-love, right? And I think that also is another factor in what people deal with too when we're dealing with mental health. If I've made this mistake, I don't want everybody to know my mistake, but sometimes, unfortunately, life happens, and then other people start to gain knowledge of it. But does that make you a bad individual? Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sometimes shame does so much to us,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where we need to be set free from that shame. Yeah, I've done some bad things in my life. I have. I feel sorry, that I did. But and it's shameful, at times, and sometimes shame still bugs me. But that's the amazing thing that going to a biblical perspective that Jesus did at the cross, because he took all that shame, on himself. Everything that we've done, against others or to ourselves, that's something that was also nailed on that cross. I don't know, I love. I know we have to have a spiritual and a physical connection. Spiritual connection with God, but we also have to have like you said, self-love. If I can't love my neighbor, then how in the world am I going to love myself, right?
Right.
Right.
It's like you have to love yourself before you try and to have like a relationship with another. You have to love yourself because if you don't love yourself and you put all your energy into that person, like let's say I have a boyfriend, right? And I put all my love into him, I put all of my energy, I put all my time and effort, and I don't care about myself, how I love myself, it's not going to end well, because then when that person leaves,
they become your
they
identity,
become, yeah.
and you can't allow that.
No.
And we do that in all capacities. We do that with money. We do that with a pet. We do that with jobs. We do that with other significance others. And we pedestalize it when we put those things up. When we put things and people on a pedestal, then we are dashed when we are without them.
Yeah, and I want to piggyback on something you said, Andre, about shame and having shame after the mistakes you made. I don't think too many people are allowing their mistakes to, the mistakes you're making is to be a way of you to help yourself the next time you make the same mistake or change from the mistakes you're making.
You know, that's the biggest thing too, is knowing that we're human, right? I mean, I might make that same mistake 5 or 6 times, but a biblical answer truly is a man can fall down 7 times and gets right back up, and that's what makes him righteous. And not self-righteous, you know.
Character building. That's character.
And truth be told, that's another biblical concept when you think about it.
Well, there's
anytime you have any type of conflict in your life, trials, what do they mean to do?
Well, it's when you have perseverance. Perseverance leads to character, and character hope. So when there's a sequence. There's a sequence to follow to push through the difficulty.
Yeah. So God is good all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
I feel like this, like, kind of going back to like loving yourself. I got advice. My lovely therapist, she was telling me that like you have to do it. Well, I'm whole, I'm good, right? And you need to be worth my time and energy. If you're not worth my time and energy, we get out.
Absolutely, I agree with that. That's like renting headspace. Some people rent your headspace to where they've gotten in your head so bad.
Rent free.
Rent free.
Well, that's the thing. People have Biden in their head rent free.
Who?
Biden.
Oh, you mean Joe?
So like Republicans might have Biden living rent free in their head.
Yeah, and Trump.
And Trump. and people have Trump living rent free. Yeah, so I didn't have to go. I didn't have to swing political there immediately.
You know, it's funny you brought that up because my goodness, I'm looking at, you know, this is a squirrel moment, but looking at Elon and Trump just going at each other, I'm just like, oh my goodness, it's just like a little cat. How embarrassing, man.
Very, very embarrassing. But I would like to urge our listeners to let us live in their brain rent free.
Absolutely.
Guys' perspective. Let us be there. Actually, no. We are accepting donations.
True. Yeah, we actually are accepting donations. We love your sponsorships.
Sponsorships, yeah.
If you love us, hate us, just donate.
Yeah, we're the new kids on the block.
Donate.
We're the new kids on the block here, and we're trying to. Yeah. Wait, is that the new kids or is that Backstreet Boys or?
Oh yeah. All right.
Oh man.
Come on, be real. Help me.
I don't listen to those bands.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard one song from them.
This guy's shaming me, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, but we speak real topics.
Yes.
To real people, and I think that's what separates us. Is, you know, we do all struggle with something going on in our life, but it's okay.
Yeah.
That's just humanity, right? Humanity struggles. But with that said, you know, there's always hope, guys. You know, I mean, we hit on suicide prevention. We hit on, you know, shame, you know, just the things that afflict us in this life. But at the end of the day, self-love, all those things tend to persevere. I think the best thing we can do in this life is to make sure that we can provide that love, you know, toward others that feel unlovable.
Yeah.
You know, so
just being a good person and like, being able to have empathy. Some people don't have empathy, which I find is very interesting. But you know what? Hey, no way to judge. You know what? Actually, on my job things in Avid, they tell me that I would be a really good therapist. I'm like, alrighty then. Anywho, that was going off topic.
Oh, that's great.
No, that's right on topic. Yeah. You'd be the therapist.
I'm with you. I love that.
Yeah, and I think that you're very astute and knowledgeable for your age. So, yeah, thank you because you dropped some real truth bombs here.
10. I was like, you're only 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you're a little quiet over there, Truth. What's up?
No, I was just thinking about you know, the past mistakes that we have made. How many men are not, you know, stepping back, looking at it, thinking about it, saying, why did I make this mistake? Why did I make this mistake? And then
And that's,
progressing forward.
and that's
I think
that's
we don't take a
introspection.
step back, look at why we made these mistakes. What are we going to do different so we don't make the same mistakes, and then continue forward?
We
That's
always,
such a good
we always, you're right, Brian. We always need to look at self first because that's the one thing that we can change. We can't change others.
And I love that. You know, sometimes you do need to take a step back and move forward. You know, sometimes past that's a good teacher.
I take 2 steps forward, I take 2 steps back. We come together because opposites attract, and you know. Yeah.
Do you want to hear the truth?
I
I don't want to hear you.
We got 1 minute, Truth.
I don't want to hear you sing. Ever
Okay. Oh, man. I hope our listeners liked it, so.
I like that. I was digging it, man. Come on.
No, I'm serious.
Yeah, man. Karaoke birthday?
Oh, yeah.
Your karaoke birthday was the bomb.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was fun. 80s. Yeah, we should all, listeners should all come to Andre's house and have a karaoke party.
Sure enough. Show up. Just bring food. Hey guys, with that said, you know, we're running low on time and appreciate you guys visiting us and a guy's perspective. We'll see you next weekend.
Bye.
Thanks. Boomskis.
That was tough, bro.
Very much.
That was